there is a sense that young white people crave something around being black. Even black people don't really kind of feel themselves to some extent. That, you know, it seems a kind of mythical aura of hipness and kind of something that they can also crave. So most of the 1960s rock music in this country essentially involved culturally appropriating, i.e. ripping off black music of black origin. Something like Mick Jagger or Led Zeppelin were doing that. And I think that's a massive problem in terms of cultural appropriation, partly because it's done within the ethos of a kind of art that relied on a notion of authenticity, the real blues. Yeah? And I think there's something really different when you get something like David Bowie. David Bowie can be on something like Soul Train, a major black music program on the States, playing soul music about that distance of performativity that enables you to be able to say these kinds of things and to engage in cultural appropriation in a way that actually reveals something more than what, you know, just simply sort of nicking people's culture. Yeah? It sort of reveals some fault line, I think, because I wanted to see that in context something called Pygmy Markham. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. Pygmy was a black performer, 1950s, 60s, maybe 70s, whose thing was he performed in blackface, right? So he's a black performer performing in blackface, meaning that he's a black performer pretending to be a white performer, pretending to be a black performer. You're with me? Mm-hmm. So he's already playing a really complex game with identity in a way that's still about his identity as a black man, but does it in such a way it brings out something really quite complex about it. Okay. And a group of actors called the Worcester Group, of which Andrew is a great expert, about Andrew's expert, actually did a play, part of which involved a overtly racially kind of stereotypical performance in which white women played Pygmy Markham, playing a white woman in blackface, played a black man in blackface, playing a white man in blackface, playing a black man. Have you got it? The point being that they were absolutely kind of pushing at the kind of issues around race, and very, very controversially so. These performances were enormously controversial because they seemed to be racially stereotypical, deeply insulting, and yet some critics, some of whom were African American, said, no, this is the only way you can do this, is full pushing through this kind of cultural stereotyping and appropriation that actually reveals that race, for example, is a performance of a certain sort, that we are all cast into performance about our identity that is kind of not just essential to some extent.